Let's talk about how some of these new resources also result in some enhancements, and I'm going to talk about a couple of enhancements that aren't not directly related to the new resources. First, as I said, BStrat 450 Network will become our primary class home for collaboration, and I look forward to using it as that vehicle, and hopefully you'll find it useful and helpful. I'm going to try to keep lectures as focused and brief as possible to allow for more time for collaboration, as I said before. The chat features in Manhattan are still available to you, but the video conference and document sharing capabilities are probably better on Ning, with TalkBox and Huddle in particular. Discussions, blogs, and videos in Ning will focus on the application of the strategic management process to our class, among other things. There will be other topics covered, but one of the most important topics is how can we improve this class. My view was that we could take this class and use it essentially as a case study on strategic management. We will enhance the Business Strategy 450's competitive advantage in the competitive landscape of strategy courses through our collective collaboration. You'll see the first topic, the first forum topic and first videos on this are in BStrat 450. Bottom line is this is, I think, going to be an exciting opportunity. I'm hoping that as we apply what we learn in this course, particularly around the strategic management process, we'll be able to apply it to the class, consider where there are external or internal factors that should be taken into account so that we can improve the experience, innovate, and develop a vision and a mission and then ultimately a strategy for the course that will not only improve it for you, and I will implement those enhancements along the way, but will, by the end of the course, result in an even better course, so that as other students join the class in the future, they will benefit from your enhancements, and from my perspective, we'll continue this process on an ongoing basis, in much the same way that the strategic management process is a cycle which doesn't stop at any particular time. This activity, this participation in this exercise will be a big component of class participation, so I would encourage you to contribute as much as possible. I think it's in your interest anyway, because to the extent that we can implement changes that we collectively believe will enhance the course without fundamentally losing our focus on the core objectives of the class, I think it will be, in the end, a very positive addition for the class. In addition, this is just more to state the obvious. All of the other materials will remain in Manhattan and Cengage. Now, I won't go into the details of this, but you don't have to worry that those will go away. This is a supplement to those materials. And again, as I said before, hopefully your lectures and videos will be more accessible. One other enhancement is I'm going to add one option, which is that you can work on a personal vision and mission statement and strategic plan. This is really an opportunity for you to apply to your own life the principles of the strategic management process. You can think about your future, your business future, your personal future, and develop a working plan. It's not mandatory, but I think it might be something worthwhile for you individually. And to the extent that you do choose to take on this additional option, you can earn up to 5 additional points on your final grade, depending on how well it's done. I will be providing a little bit more detail in next week's lecture on this, but I wanted you to be aware that this option would be available to everybody in the class. Let's get into preparing an effective case analysis. Strong case analysis is, as you know, the most critical element of this class, and since most of the major deliverables of the class, the written case analysis, the team project, and the final exam all involve serious case analyses, I wanted to be sure that you were well equipped to handle the case analyses before we got to them. Many of the same analytical skills that you're going to get from these case analyses will also be applicable elsewhere in the course, so I think this exercise of learning about the process will be useful to you. They will be applicable in some of the periodic chapter assignments and certainly in participation in the discussion forums. Before you start preparing your case analysis, be sure you've read Preparing an Effective Case Analysis in the text. It's available at these pages, or I've provided a PDF which is available in assignments on Manhattan. As that section of the text suggests, use of cases is intended to develop your analytical and communication skills. In an online course, you need to be especially creative in the way that you present your analysis. So think about your audience as you prepare. I'm not going to go through line by line what's in the book, but here are some additional thoughts that came from the book. First, you should gain familiarity with the case, the critical facts, etc. You should recognize the symptoms that are identified in the case, and you should identify your goals for your case analysis. You should conduct your case analysis, and this goes again into some detail. The written analysis, the written materials go into even more detail. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here talking about them. You need to make your diagnosis. Again, not going to talk a lot here, except that I encourage you to do the reading. And then you need to develop an action plan, in which you specifically prioritize the criteria you use to choose action alternatives, and then you talk about implementation and assessment. You're going to need to do a situation analysis, which includes an environmental analysis, which we will be talking about this week and next. An industry analysis, Porter's 5 Forces, which is part of this week's analysis, or this week's lectures. You're going to do a competitor analysis, an internal analysis, and then the result of all of that is a SWOT, which is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Then you'll have to do a strategy formulation. You'll have to present your strategic alternatives, evaluate those alternatives, and recommend an alternative choice. And then you'll need to identify how you're going to proceed with strategy implementation. You'll need to put together an action plan, a project plan, and so your document gets pretty robust when you do this case analysis. Here's some basic advice, some simple advice, but some things to think about. First, it's your thought process that matters, not your answers. There are many potential answers in these cases. As long as you defend your point of view and you can defend it well, I'm going to be satisfied. Sometimes there may be a right or wrong answer on a subcomponent, but fundamentally this is about how you thought through the issues. Learn to think differently. Focus less on the content, but on how you approach the underlying strategic issues. So you've got a framework that I've provided you. Get into thinking about the approach you take to the issues. And then act like a business person. In business, it's not strategy versus finance versus human resources versus operations. It's interdisciplinary, and successful companies realize that, and you should realize that as well. So incorporate what you've learned here, but also whatever you've learned in the other courses you've taken in the years you're here in school. And then talk with other students and me. Bottom line is I want this process to be collaborative. Use the collaboration tools in BStrat 450 network and share your arguments and ideas with others before and after you submit analysis. As you'll see when you watch the video out in BStrat 450 network, the first video you're going to need to watch, collaboration is not cheating if you use it to think and to create new ideas. So bottom line, case analysis can be tough, but it can also be a lot of fun if you let it. And so I guess I'd say please try to have as much fun as possible, think creatively, and I'm going to be very happy with what you produced. Don't make it a tough, rote process that is uninteresting for you, because it will be uninteresting for me, and that's when neither of us will ultimately be satisfied with the outcome.